All right, let's jump right into this explainer by putting you directly in that moment of absolute panic pretty much every beginner investor faces. Picture this. You've done all your research, you found the perfect stock, you know exactly how much you want to invest, so you open up your brokerage app, you tap buy, and then, bam, you hit a wall. There is this tiny, confusing drop-down menu just staring right back at you. And right there, on the spot, you are forced to choose market order or limit order. Suddenly, all that hard-earned confidence you had about exactly what to buy, it just completely evaporates into confusion about how to actually buy it. Now, if you're like most beginners, you do what feels natural, right? You tap market order because, well, it sounds simple. It sounds immediate. You confirm the trade, it goes through, and then you look at your receipt and you realize, wait a second, the price I just paid is slightly, and sometimes way more than slightly, different from the price I was quoted on the screen. You paid more than you expected, and you really aren't entirely sure why. So, to figure out exactly why this happens, and more importantly, how to fix it, let's look at two totally different investors. We'll call them Chris and Nadia. Now, Chris has been at this for about 8 months. He's actually pretty great at picking stocks, but he is just bleeding returns through the accumulated cost of really sloppy execution. He always uses market orders because, hey, they're easy, but he's completely in the dark about the hidden costs that are quietly eating into his capital. Contrast that with Nadia. Nadia is what you'd call a precise executor. She figured out early on that order types give her absolute control over execution quality. She doesn't just sit back and take whatever the market hands her. She dictates the terms. Let's start by unpacking Chris's default move, the market order. A market order is essentially you telling your broker, execute this trade right now, at whatever the available price happens to be. There's no price condition attached to it. No minimum, no maximum. It is literally the fastest, most reliable path from making your decision to actually owning those shares. It guarantees execution. But as Chris is learning the hard way, that guarantee comes with a hidden tax. That hidden tax? It exists because of something called the bid-ask spread. And what's really fascinating here is that this totally exposes one of the biggest illusions in the stock market. That single flat price you see on your screen, say $50 exactly, is actually just a midpoint, or maybe the last traded price. It's almost never what you actually pay. In reality, there are always two prices happening at the exact same time. The bid is the highest price any buyer out there is currently willing to pay, and the ask is the lowest price any seller is currently willing to accept. That gap sitting between them, that's the spread. Let's make this beautifully concrete. Imagine a fictional company called Hartwell Technologies. The current bid price is $49.90, and the ask price is $50.10. That 20-cent difference is your spread. When you smash that market buy order button, you are forcing the system to buy from the absolutely cheapest available seller right this exact second. So you don't pay that clean $50 midpoint you thought you saw. You pay the $50.10 ask price. Or, on the flip side, if you were selling, you'd be forced to accept the $49.90 bid. That 20-cent spread is an immediate upfront cost you pay just for the privilege of using a market order to skip the line. And honestly, this illustrates an even deeper, much more painful problem: slippage. Think about what happens if you place a large market buy order, but there just simply aren't enough shares available from sellers at that $50.10 price. What does the market order do? Well, it doesn't stop. It relentlessly marches up the order book. It buys up everything available at $50.10, and then it immediately forces you to buy the next batch at $50.15, and the next one at $50.22, just climbing higher and higher until your entire order is finally filled. The average price you end up paying, way higher than the price you started with. This price impact is basically an invisible tax on your trades. So let's flip the script and look at the alternative. This is Nadia's absolute preferred tool, the limit order. A limit order is a strict, undeniable instruction to your broker. It basically says, buy this stock, but only at this specific price or better. And if you can't fill it at that price, do not fill it at all. Period. If Nadia wants Hartwell Technologies, but she's only willing to pay $49.95, she sets a buy limit order for exactly that amount. Her order then just goes out and sits in the exchange's order book, patiently waiting until the market decides to meet her terms. She is the one dictating the price. Which brings us to the ultimate fundamental trade-off between these two. And here's the thing. Neither tool is universally better than the other. They just serve entirely different masters. Market orders promise that your trade is absolutely 100% going to happen, but they leave the price you end up paying totally up to chance. Limit orders, on the other hand, give you absolute price discipline, meaning no slippage, no surprises. But they come with the very real risk of missing the trade entirely if the stock's price moves away from you and just never quite hits your limit. Okay, now that we understand the mechanics under the hood, when should you actually reach for each of these tools? Believe it or not, a market order actually makes perfect sense in three very specific scenarios. First off, if you're trading highly liquid, large cap stocks where the bid-ask spread is like a single cent. The cost of using a market order there is practically zero, so go for it. Second, when execution certainty is literally the only thing that matters. Say a company announces absolutely terrible news, your entire investment thesis just broke, and you need to exit that position instantly. Getting out fast matters way more than optimizing for a couple of pennies. And third, you use them in incredibly fast-moving volatile markets where a limit price would just go completely stale and get left in the dust in a matter of seconds. On the flip side, there are three specific times you absolutely positively want to use a limit order. First and foremost, illiquid stocks with really wide spreads. If you're looking at a $20 stock that has a 50-cent spread, using a market order means you are taking an instant 1.25% loss before the stock even twitches. A limit order completely saves you from that haircut. Second, use it to enforce strict valuation targets. If you do all the math and decide, hey, Brightwell Technologies is only a buy for me if it drops to $45, well, a limit order perfectly enforces that discipline for you. And third, this is crucial. Always use limit orders during after-hours trading. Liquidity is incredibly thin outside regular market hours, and throwing a market order into that environment can result in some wildly unpredictable, awful prices. Before we jump into Nadia's overarching framework for all this, you do need to keep a few quick nuances in mind, because limit orders require a bit of active babysitting. First is the time dimension. You actually have to tell your broker how long the order is good for. Is it just for today, or is it good till canceled, which usually means the next 60 to 90 days? If it's the latter, you absolutely must monitor it. You do not want to accidentally buy a stock 3 months from now when the company's fundamentals have completely tanked. Second thing, limit orders offer zero protection against overnight gaps. If a stock closes at $50 and then opens the very next morning at $44 because of some terrible news, your $48 sell limit won't magically save you at $48. It's going to execute at that much lower open price. And finally, partial fills are totally a thing. If you want 500 shares at your limit price, but only 200 are actually available, well, you might only get those 200. So how do we make all of this perfectly actionable? Let's steal Nadia's fantastic three-question framework. She runs literally every single trade through these 3 steps. Step 1, how liquid is the stock? She checks the volume, she checks the spread. If it's a super tight 1-cent spread, a market order is probably fine. If it's wider, limit order for sure. Step 2, what's more important right now? Execution certainty or price certainty? If she's buying a stock to hold for a decade, a few cents of slippage on entry doesn't matter. But for a short-term, highly tactical, price-sensitive trade, price certainty absolutely wins out. And step 3, what is a realistic limit price? She sets it really thoughtfully, usually just a tiny bit below the ask price or right at the midpoint. This way, she gets a great price without sacrificing a realistic chance of the order actually getting filled. Bringing it all back home to our 2 investors. The difference between Chris constantly bleeding capital and Nadia executing perfectly, it's not about who has the higher IQ or who has access to some secret Wall Street terminal. It is entirely about making deliberate decisions. Chris has just been having financial accidents. He's paying that market order tax, he's suffering from hidden slippage, and he's basically just taking whatever the market hands him because he doesn't fully understand the mechanics under the hood. Nadia, though, she makes deliberate choices. She optimizes her order type for the exact specific situation right in front of her. There's this incredibly powerful quote from our source material that really hits the nail on the head, and I want to leave you with it. Take a second to really let this sink in. Order types are not administrative details. They're the difference between paying the price you intend to pay and paying the price the market happens to offer you. Choosing your order type from that drop-down menu, that is not just some boring administrative chore. It is literally one of the very few areas in investing where you have absolute total control. Taking control of those order types is your first major step toward professional-level execution. But honestly, the rabbit hole goes so much deeper than this. Have you ever wondered what actually happens in that microscopic fraction of a second right after you tap buy? If this explainer helped you master the mechanics of your own trades, you are absolutely going to want to join us next time. We are going to dive straight into the fascinating, slightly wild world of market makers and high-frequency algorithms to uncover exactly who is on the other side of your trade. You definitely won't want to miss it. See you then.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Every click helps us bring you fun stories, valuable insights, and premium content. And welcome to our community. We'll see you again very soon.